This video will show you the steps to graph linear equations that are already in slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b form, using your graphing calculator. As you can see, we have two equations here, both already in y equals mx plus b form. Because they are already equal to y, I can put them directly into my graphing calculator in the y equals button. Okay? Y equals opens this screen, and in y1, let's put our 2/3 x minus 1 equation. First thing we want to do is push the graph button so that we can see what this line is going to look like on our graph. Okay, as you can see, the slope is positive, it's going uphill, and it's crossing the x-axis somewhere between 1 and 2, and it's crossing the y-axis at -1. From here, you're going to touch second, graph, and find your table. Okay, we do not want to use points with fractions, so let's choose some points that are whole numbers or integers. So when x is a -3, y is a -3. When x is a 0, y is a -1. When x is a 3, y is a 1. Okay, the minimum amount of points to graph for a straight line is 3 points to make sure that they all end up on the line and that we haven't graphed anything incorrectly. So now let's get those on our graph. -3, -3, 0, -1, and 3, +1. They all look good. They look like they're going to form a line. So let's draw our line. Make sure you're putting arrows on the ends of your lines to show that it goes on forever. And we label the line. Y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Okay, our first line is graphed. Let's try the second one. We're going to clear this out. And in y1, I'm going to type -x plus 4. And I'm going to graph this again so that I can see what it looks like. Okay, this one has a negative slope. It is crossing the x-axis right around 4, and it's crossing the y-axis also at 4. So let's go to our table, second, graph, and find some points that we want to graph. Okay, so I'm going to pick, let's see, -1, 5. I'm going to pick 2, 2. And how about 4, 0? Let's put those on our graph. We have a -1, +5, a +2, +2, and a +4, 0. Okay, those look pretty good. Let's go ahead and draw our line. Arrows on both ends. And again, let's label it. Y equals -x plus 4. Okay, we are looking for the solution to this system of equations, and we find it where the lines intersect. And it looks like they intersect right about here, which is 3, +1. So the solution to this system of equations is 3, +1. Now, let's check that in our calculator. Go back to your y equals screen. We already have one of those in the y equals, so let's go down to y2, and we'll type the other one back in. 2/3 x minus 1. Okay, I'm going to graph those. And that looks very close to what I have graphed on my paper. And I want to make the calculator tell me if my answer is correct. And the way we do that is you're going to touch second, trace. And from there, we want to touch number 5. And as you can see, I have a cursor right here. I need to use my left and right arrows to move the cursor closer to the intersection. There he goes. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be close. And as you can see down here, this says first curve. I don't want to look only on the first line. I hit enter, and now it says second curve. I don't want to look only on the second line, so I'm going to hit enter again, and now the calculator is asking me if it wants it to guess. I don't. I want it to tell me the answer, so I'm going to hit enter one more time. And it says the answer is when x is a 3, y is a 1, which matches our answer, and we got it correct. Okay, this is how we can use our graphing calculator to help us graph systems of linear equations and find the solution.